Okay, so I want to talk a bit about the pettiness and the sectarianism of the SNP, the Scottish National Party. And this is a subject I've covered many times, but it is a very important subject because this is a party that is absolutely determined to break up this country. Well, I've just seen an interesting photograph. It's showing the recent meeting between Theresa May and Nicola Sturgeon at Holyrood. And there's an interesting contrast with another photograph of the Prime Minister meeting First Minister Carwyn Jones in Cardiff, so the Welsh First Minister. And without looking too long, you can see the contrast in the two photos, and that is basically that in the photograph where the Prime Minister is meeting Carwyn Jones, there's the Welsh flag and the Union flag, the British Union flag, behind them in the middle, close together. Now, in the meeting with Nicola Sturgeon in Edinburgh, there is no Union flag at all, simply two saltires, the Scottish flag in the background. Um, now, this, at first, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I thought, okay, well, maybe this is photoshopped. Because I was looking at it in a group that admittedly was anti SNP, although not necessarily a pro unionist group. They told me they weren't pro unionist, but they are very anti SNP. So I thought, okay, well, maybe someone has photoshopped this. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt. And I Googled the same meeting and I looked at the same photo from lots of different perspectives. Sadly, unfortunately, it's the same thing. Now, some people might say, well, what's the big issue here? It's only a flag. I disagree. I think in a political context, that is very meaningful. If you have a visiting head of state, the protocol out of politeness would be that you would have the flag of that nation and the United Kingdom flag kind of standing up so they'd be together whilst the Prime Minister's meeting them. Now, it is especially the case in the United Kingdom that when the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom visits a constituent nation of the United Kingdom, you would have the Union flag in presence. This to me is indicative of the petty sectarianism of the Scottish National Party. The protocol would have been to have the Union flag there with the saltire. It's just so petty. And it isn't just this, there is a long line of things that the SNP do and say which shows their mindset. Not long ago, another one of the representatives actually was called out by Andrew Neil of the BBC, and she had the audacity to say it was Tamina Sheikh Ahmed. Actually, she had the audacity, Tasmina Sheikh Ahmed, excuse me. She had the audacity to say, "I am here as a representative of Scotland." Now, I'm pleased to say Andrew Neil, who's always quick on his feet, said, "No, you're not. You're here as a representative of the SNP." And I'm pleased he did call her out because the SNP really do have this mindset. They believe that and they alone represent Scotland, and they do so because they are the largest party. But you can imagine the outcry if Theresa May, as a Conservative Prime Minister, said, "My party and my party alone represents all British people or all English people." People would say, "Look at the arrogance of her." And the thing is, I don't even believe this is something that is anti Tory. We know the SNP don't like the Tories, but I honestly believe if this was a Labour Prime Minister, they'd be doing the same thing and they'd be having the same attitude. Put simply, the SNP is an anti British party. They are a sectarian party that is hell bent on purging all British identity from Scotland, and I think it is appalling. Um, it's petty, it's just it's absolute sectarianism. You know, they always say, "Oh, we're not anti-English." But that isn't really the issue here. The issue is anti Britishness. And when you purge the Union flag from a Parliament of the United Kingdom, then you're sending out a message of being anti British. There's no two ways about it. Um, now, Nicola Sturgeon believes that she is a world leader. She believes should be treated on an equilibrium to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And she's getting a rude awakening. When she wanted to meet Angela Merkel, she ended up meeting a more junior member of Merkel's cabinet. When she wanted to meet the Taoiseach of Ireland, she was rebuked, I'm pleased to say. Why? Because other heads of state are well aware, and other heads of government are well aware, that we are still one United Kingdom. And they're going to talk to the United Kingdom. What would be the point of them speaking to the government of the United Kingdom on one hand, and then the separatist party on the other, because they'd be getting mixed messages. It wouldn't be helpful to them. It would only confuse matters. You know, if I'm the leader of France or Germany or Ireland or any other country, I will not want to speak to a separatist party unless that separatist party has a very real chance of forming an independent country. And at the moment, the majority of Scottish people simply do not want another independence referendum. They don't want more uncertainty. They don't want more division. They want the SNP to get on with their job of running Scotland. They are a devolved government. Their job is to run Scotland. Now, Sturgeon will turn around and say, my job as First Minister is to the people of Scotland. Okay, we'll start by listening to them. Start by listening to the result of the democratic referendum 2 years ago. The arrogance of this party is unbelievable. And I just get so fed up with it. Um, the only respite is that they'll be their own undoing. Their arrogance and their pettiness is going to be their own undoing. I hope it is. And I really hope in the next local elections or general election, they will lose badly and they will lose seats because it's all they deserve. The SNP is not interested in working with the British government. All they are interested in doing, you know, Nicola Sturgeon is First Minister of Scotland, but she has made it very clear that she has no respect for the position of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. She demands respect for Scotland. What she's really saying is, I demand respect for the SNP because they don't have ownership of Scotland. They might be the biggest party, but they don't have ownership. Anyway, she's constantly demanding respect, but she's not willing to show any. Now that was a mark of disrespect, that flag stunt, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't believe I'm reading too much into it. I believe that is poignant. And even if you want to dismiss that, there's many other things. So yeah, it's just pathetic. And as soon as the SNP lose power, the better, because this party offers nothing productive to the people of Scotland or for the future of the United Kingdom. Um, and until that second referendum occurs, I hope it never does, but if and when it occurs, the SNP, until that time, the SNP should just get on with, you know, the day-to-day issues in Scotland, healthcare, education. By all means, I can disagree with the British government. I'm not taking issue with that. Okay, I'm not saying they blindly agree with everything Theresa May and the Conservative Party say. Not at all. They're a devolved government, and Nicola Sturgeon has the right to, you know, govern from the S&P's platform in terms of, you know, the domestic policies. But in the end of the day, they are a devolved government. They're not a national government. They're a devolved government, and they have to realise that it's about high bloody time they respect the United Kingdom. I'm sorry for the language, but this does irritate me because I think it's disrespectful. And yeah, the SNP just needs to grow up and realise they're a devolved government. They need to stop overstepping the boundaries. They need to stop arrogantly thinking that they alone represent Scotland. Because the way they talk, you would think they want a single party dictatorship, whereby only the SNP has a point of view and everyone else is traitors to Scotland. That is the sort of message they send out. They're a deeply sectarian party, and just because some of their leading figures are smart enough to sort of pretend otherwise, you just have to look at episodes like this to show it.